Hey everyone, it's Daz. So I figured I'd just go ahead and really quick update everyone in regards to the Polymega situation. This will be something that I'll be going through for at least the next couple days. So long story short, if you didn't catch the live stream last night, I got my new Polymega in. It's a refurbished model just like the original, and unboxed it live, checked over its physical condition. It was okay. And yeah, hooked it up. And immediately, right off the rip, I could tell that the input lag on the controller, that issue that I was having before, was completely gone. No worries about that anymore, which is awesome. That was a huge relief. And the system in general seemed to be working great. I went ahead and set it up on Wi-Fi and checked for a system update. They had already applied the brand new 1.135 or whatever it is update, so I was clear there. I didn't have to do anything, and I started dumping games on there. I put Virtua Fighter on there first, which was a game that I had issues playing before on the first refurbished model, and everything was great. I then did, I believe, Daytona USA. I did Motor Racer. I did Pong for the PlayStation, the 3D Pong game. And then I did the Need for Speed 1 on the PlayStation 1. And that is when everything started going to crap. The exact same stuttering problem that I had with the first model started to happen with the Need for Speed. And the stutter, basically, it's like a micro freeze. So it's like you're playing, all of a sudden it's like and then it stops, and it goes, but it's like really fast, and that creates a really loud crackle sound or some form of audio discrepancy, and it's really obvious. Like, even if you don't play video games, if you're sitting in that room, it's distracting. This is not me being nitpicky or some shit, right? So anyway, long story short, kept testing it. The more I tested it, the worse it got. I stopped playing Need for Speed. I even let it finish, putting the game on the external drive, the M.2 drive. Then the audio on the main operating system started to glitch out, which is exactly what my first system did, which, in my humble opinion, tells me that it has nothing to do with the M.2 storage I put in there, because at that point it's not accessing it. I mean, the music for the system would be on the internal drive that I have no access to, not an M.2. But yeah, that started happening. Then I started playing Virtua Fighter, because I know exactly what that acted like on the first refurbished model, and sure as shit, as soon as I started playing Virtua Fighter, same sort of stuttering and audio issues all over again. And yeah, that sucked. I immediately stopped the stream at that point, just because I know that when you're streaming, the video tends to cut in and out anyway. So I didn't want that to be an excuse for Playmoji to look over my video and go, oh, it's just a stream. So I turned off the stream and I made a video instead. And I went ahead and showed in black and white right there on the screen what was happening, both on the main operating system, main menu, and in a couple different games. And it was at that point that I had the idea to go ahead and restart the system. So I restarted the system and tested a couple games. I restarted the system because I had a sneaking suspicion that it's due to heat. And the reason why I think that is because my first refurbished console that I had felt like a boilerplate. If you touch that thing, even the dead module that you take off to put like a system module on, that thing was hot, even though there's nothing in it. So I was like, okay, well, if that system ran hot and I was having what I perceived to be CPU issues, let me feel the system. It was stone cold. And so I don't think it has the same severity of issue. And the reason why I think that passed the temperature problem again is because it has 0 input lag. The input lag on the other system was damn well near half a second. It was completely unplayable. I felt like I was playing in the future in my head in order to even remotely play games semi-properly. It felt terrible. And I'm not someone who's like overly sensitive to input lag, by the way. So for me to say that there's a problem, like any one of these like famous YouTubers who like are really anal retentive about that sort of shit would have basically started like writing petitions and crap. It was bad. So I figured maybe it's a heat issue. Now, to be fair, like I said, it took an hour and 20 minutes for those issues to start occurring the first time. So when I reset the system and I played a couple games, it didn't have that issue anymore, hence why I'm going to be testing it again tonight. That said, I don't have confidence that I'm in the clear. And the reason that I say that is because upon booting the system, my Wi-Fi didn't work. And not only did my Wi-Fi not have the ability to find any network, once I turned it off and turned it on again, the check mark within the system, not my actual internet. Once I went ahead and turned it off and turned it on, it still wouldn't connect. In fact, it was requiring me to re-put in my password, which is not right, not how it should run. I input my password, I pointed the camera away from from the screen, input my password. After several seconds, it finally connected to the internet. As a test, because it's the only way that I know, maybe I'm wrong, but the only way I know to actually test internet usage at all on this machine, being that we don't have any online multiplayer or screen names or storefronts, is to check for an update. So what did I do to make sure that my Wi-Fi was working? I went and checked for an update, and I proceeded to sit there for nearly 2 minutes as all it said was, please wait. Please wait for what? It literally took like instantly, like a quarter of a second for it to say that I don't need an update, here's your version number, the first time I accessed it when I first connected to the Wi-Fi, the first time I had it on. This time it was just like, please wait. And it just sat there forever. Finally it came up, no update needed, blah, blah, blah. It's like, why did that take so long? So I think there's a problem. Some people who didn't watch my video, and I understand everyone's busy, but for people who didn't fully watch a video or watch it at all, they were, including Polymega. Polymega didn't initially, or Playmaji didn't initially view the fucking short video I made them in the email either, which really confused me. Because they emailed me back today and they asked me specific questions like, well, did you do this? And what games is it doing it on? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, it's all in the video. Like, I answer this, boom, boom, boom. But in addition to Playmaji, I had a couple people in Discord. And again, I'm not mad at the people at Discord. I'm mad at people at Playmaji, okay? Let me make that abundantly clear. I got no problems with people in Discord. Everyone's been very, very, very nice. But they were, asking like, oh, well, maybe it's the M.2. Maybe it's a storage. Okay, well, and Playmaji asked the same thing. They were asking what storage I was using. First off, number one, I'm using the exact same Team Group 2 terabit M.2 SSD that they recommend on their own bloody website to use. And they only give like 2 suggestions. So, number 2, my issues are happening while on the operating system's main menu. So not only is it not even accessing the M.2, that music file isn't even on that storage device. Combine that with the fact that it seems to happen either when the system is hot, per my original system, or when the system's been on for some great amount of time, and I say great amount of time as in over an hour, I think it's a thermal paste issue. I really do. And it wouldn't surprise me that the reason why I've gone to 2 refurbished systems so far in the exact same way is because they're being repaired by the exact same person the exact same way. And if you hire it, and I could be wrong, I'm not accusing anyone of anything because I haven't opened up the system. I'm just going based on symptoms, okay? But if I had to guess, wouldn't it make sense that you hired someone who didn't exactly know how to properly put thermal paste on a CPU to fix systems that had bad CPUs? It would make sense that I got 2 systems that were relatively the same symptoms back to back. Makes sense to me. Again, I could be wrong, but it just makes sense. With that, I'll end this video by saying this. The last email that I sent them, and I have no response as of right now, I asked if I could open up the system and replace the CPU and or check and replace the thermal paste. I think that makes a lot more sense than me just chucking systems back and forth. And I got a CPU that'll work better, mind you, on a system. But at the same time, I am not going to go ahead and allow them to go ahead and skirt out of this warranty, which may or may not have anything to do with the CPU, just by resting on the fact that, oh, well, you opened it, so sorry, you're out, hundreds of dollars. No, I'm not playing that game. I'm all willing to help if I have permission to help, but I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not making any money on this shit. I'm not going to sacrifice my system to fix a problem that I didn't cause. No way. So here's the schedule. Tonight, I will be live streaming again and testing the system again and playing for at least an hour and a half. And then tomorrow, I will be doing the same thing, but also installing that new M.2 just so they can check it off their list that I tried a different, M.2. I will go ahead and do that. Because if I replace the M.2 with the new one and it does the same shit, it ain't the M.2. Hell, I'm even doing a different brand, a brand that I trust a lot better than Team Group, by the way. And it's a way more expensive model, way more higher performance. Not that this is going to be able to really utilize that performance because it's going to only run it at a Gen 3 speed. But basically, long story short, I'm not doing Team Group again, just in case. And like I said, if it does the same problem, I can be like, look, man, it ain't the storage. So at that point, it's either the CPU or the motherboard or some random ass component. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. I build PCs, but it's hard for me to be able to tell without opening the thing up and looking for myself. I can't sit here and tell you that, it's running at a certain temperature. They don't give me that data on the operating system, and I can't tell you that it doesn't have enough thermal paste because I can't see it. I can only go, like I said, based on the first system that I had that ran like a boilerplate, and the second one having the same issues, albeit running way cooler. And we'll just go from there. I'm hoping to God that I'll get an email back from Polymega by tonight's stream as to whether or not I can open up the system. And if they give me permission to open up the system, I will be replacing the CPU live on my live stream tonight. That's the form of attack. That all being said, I'll just say this about that. Number one, I appreciate the effort by Polymega, the little things. Like, I appreciate them throwing in that that Polymega lanyard into the box as an apology. At least that's how I took it. And I appreciate their timely, repetitive emails back to me today. What I don't appreciate is a faulty product that clearly something going on that they need to start taking seriously and testing. Number one. And number two, I don't appreciate me literally sending you a link for a video that's only a few minutes long that highlights what the issues are, when it's occurring, on what game it's occurring, when it occurs, blah, 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 just so you don't even watch it. Like, I might regret saying this, man, but it just feels like this company is run by either really stressed out people, really distracted people, people who don't care, which I don't necessarily think that based on what I've heard about these guys, or people who maybe this is just a little over their head. Maybe it's just too much, and maybe they've been doing it for so long. Maybe they care about the system and the project, but they don't care about the running of the business. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I have a feeling that these guys are just love their jobs. They love coding. They love making things like a Sega Saturn work on this hardware, and getting emulation perfect and blah 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 blah. I don't think they like dealing with people and their returns and shipments and allotments and order fulfillment and profit and business. Anyway, Dad's out. I'll see you guys tonight. Catch me sometime this evening. I'm in Arizona time, so I'll probably be on around 7, 8 o'clock. See you guys then.